What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. We got AJ in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Amy, Anna, Andy, Bill, Brian. Good morning to Emily. It's Emily. Put me in, Coach. I like that's a good Zoom name you got. You got Joe in the house. Good morning to Keith, Lauren, Mark, Marius, Peter, Rick, Rob. Good morning to you. Good morning to William. All my people out in YouTube land. Leonard, Clarice, Alfred, M. Sky in the house. All my lurkers in the background of YouTube that just not gonna say nothing. It's okay. Hit that like and subscribe button. B Jal, good morning to you. B Jal says, "Hi, good morning. Markets is in up mode. They say you cannot buy low, but I did. Look at B Jal stepping in front of a train. I like it. I like it. But yeah, market is bouncing. So we yesterday kind of had this little feel of capitulation. Do we end up pushing lower eventually? Is this the bottom? I don't know. We still got a lot of room to the downside on this one. So 437.97 is the bigger volume where something interesting could really look to capitulate. But all the signs right there for now are there. You got a lot of volume that came in yesterday. We had a lot of volume on Friday. Haven't taken that candle out yet, so we're still on kind of high alert for that. You got a gap up, but the markets were getting absolutely crushed Sunday into Monday. So overnight session absolutely getting rocked. Tim says I was sitting in the swing room waiting. Yeah, it's gonna be. You might be waiting there for a while. You might be waiting there for a little bit. But Tim is in the house. Good morning to you. We got uh I don't know. It's got all the signs of capitulation. At least dead cat bounce after we take a look at this weekly. Try to brace for impact when I switch to the weekly charts. But a few things that have me still a little concerned. One, we don't really have any. I mean, we still could get headlines anywhere. But if you have a one, two, if this is all three, maybe looking for some kind of a bounce four and then double bottom potentially. Who knows? Otherwise right now, and it's only Tuesday. We've only had one day this week so far. We got another four to follow, including today. Our volume for the week is about half of the volume we did last week. So we'll see where this volume ends for this week. See if we can hold into the green by the end of this week. So we have a lot of time left in this market. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, for today, inside day, even though we had some follow through last night from close to right now, I think we finally hit our Tesla targets from yesterday. So they just want to wait an extra day, I guess. But otherwise, inside day, see if we get a little pullback. The one spot I like that is interesting, we'll have to see where this one opens, is if we're going back to, I think we had a pivot we were opening in a good location. Yeah, this one right here. This guy. This is the August 5th Japanese yen trade. Lots of volume, and we're opening slightly above 516.92. So I'm going to put that down on my screen for today. If we can stay above that, maybe we just had a trap below the August 5th date. But that is the last time we had some crazy panic, crazy overnight. Same thing in terms of capitulation, lots and lots of volume. And then if we look at this day, the next day opens inside, kind of what we're doing now. We opened somewhere down here, a little bit lower. Didn't really we did have that little pullback. So we did retest that prior VPOC, and then we had the next couple days where we rampage. Is this the same story? I don't know. I very hard to predict these type of markets. But watch that August 5th date. I like the location. I like the fact that we're back above that where you had high volume coming in. Let's see if there's a little pullback, a little breather, some sideways chop first in the market, and then we kind of push. But for right now, it looks like bulls are stepping in. There is a gap that we have to fill, and that would take us all the way up to uh 542.48. But the fact that we had so much volume Friday and we were above, I think today's bounce spot, if we pull back at all, somewhere around 512.10. I don't think I want to see yesterday's full on retracement 504.10, but we'll see what happens. Otherwise, we're kind of hanging out. It's not a bad spot to look. Again, if you have time in the market, there's a lot of things a lot cheaper than they were 3 months ago. We got the Qs. Same thing, big resistance on the Qs right ahead of us though. So watch 438. If we can squeeze above 438 or essentially outside of or the higher side of Friday's candle, Then you probably have straight on Rampage into 554.80, close that gap up, run into that volume zone, and then we have to see if we could. There's one more gap that we have 466.29. So for now, inside day from yesterday still. So we're not crazy, crazy bullish. We still got to get above that 438. Maybe we get a pullback into like 429.16, and then we'll see if that can hold. Otherwise, full under retracement for the Qs takes us somewhere into the 424.74 zone. So we'll see. Bijal says fake news from Ackman. Yeah. Bill Ackman, he tweeted, and then I think he deleted his tweet, and then he retweeted something else. Um, he's got a lot of influence in the markets. So if he thinks things are just kind of oversold or beat up, it's obviously he has an agenda. So so be careful. But um, yeah, and he's been pretty bullish as of late as well. I don't think he thinks tariffs are really that bad, but you have him kind of coming out with some news. You also had some weird upgrades too. So first of all, Levi, I guess. Levy, aka Levi, big gap on this one. So this is the first like earnings. I don't know, retail, they beat by 36% earnings per share. They missed by 12 million on the revenue side, and they're still going up. So interesting spot though. I was looking through a lot of charts. There's one I do like a lot. Um, but a lot of the other charts that I was looking at, a lot of the other tickers, you have this gap up, and a lot of those ones, individual names are just running into a big resistance. So that I don't love. Levi, I don't really want to scramble to buy. I don't know. I don't think I have to go crazy buying Levi today. So I'll probably not trade this one. But that is at least a little significance into some retail where they missed on the revenue and they still kind of pushed up higher after that. So we'll see how the other ones play out. The other one I was looking for that I like a lot for today, probably a little bit of a sympathy, but Nike I'm watching. I think it's going to be sympathy for Levi, but this one at least is not opening into a big resistance. I love where we're sitting at open is probably if we get a little pullback, look for like 57.78 is an interesting spot for buy. And then maybe you could come in. That's a $5 move on a $58 stock. So maybe we could close that gap today. Let's see if there's any volume, anything in the way on this one. Not really. So if we go a little higher, there's nothing really holding us back. I guess the first spots we have to be concerned is a 63, and then really up until like 65. So this one's got some room. I got this one high on my list for today. Again, maybe we see some kind of high wave candle, 3 minute chart, 5 minute chart, something that we could play, and then maybe we get that gap fill for today. We'll see. But that one I kind of like. The other one that got an upgrade is Netflix. So they got an upgrade to 1150, I think. It looks like a massive head and shoulders, but good bounce so far off that 200. You got the upgrade coming in, and earnings, I think will be heavily watched. April 17th. So we have, I think that's next week, if I'm not mistaken. Next Thursday, it's well off the highs. Last earnings did pretty well. You're below last earnings for right now. So maybe an opportunity. I don't know. Still inside yesterday's candle as well, just like a lot of things. If this one wants to pull back, look for maybe like 873.66. I don't know. Does tariffs really affect Netflix? I don't think so. Maybe more cancellations because people are worried about finances. I think it's what, $15, $16 a month. I think I'd rather, if I had regular cable and Netflix and I had to make a financial decision, I'd probably cut the other stuff and keep the Netflix. I don't know. Are they really going to get too crazy on this one? But interesting upgrade. If that one pulls back, I think somewhere around the 875, 876 zone might be an interesting spot to buy some Netflix if you are bullish into earnings for that one. But we'll see. We got Uber. Crocs held very well in the sell-off. B. Giles in Crocs, not Nike. All right. I would imagine they kind of move similar. The only thing with Nike is you do have a little overseas exposure to it. I would imagine. I don't know where Crocs are made, but I don't think they're manufactured and made in the U.S. So I think they're probably in the same boat. Uber, yeah, good gap on this one. This one's gonna have a little. This is one where I don't know. It does have a little bit more room higher, but I think your next we're kind of opening into that resistance, so this is one of those gap ups. It is a retest gap. I think your risk to reward on this one might be to the short side, but I probably wouldn't short here. It's got a little resistance, I guess. Maybe there's an opportunity for a short, but $69.12, somewhere around there. Yeah, 69.12. If you start to break it, you probably have a better spot to look to go short, $70.06. Play that retest. But this one's up a decent amount, retest gap. I don't think at least that I want to go long on this one up here, just running into this resistance where you have a downside potential if we want to come back, retrace the last Monday or Monday and Friday's kind of VPOC zone, 65.41, I think would be your buy spot. So if it gets down there, that's where I would look to buy. Otherwise, I think it's kind of just I don't know if it's just I don't think it has enough risk to reward on it. We got Amazon. Uh, unless it does something crazy in these markets, who knows? Who knows? Amazon is chilling. That's a good gap. You're gapping above three VPOCs. Again, on this one, risk to reward is a little tough. It's there though. I would like a little pullback at least, get me down to like I think some of these shorts are probably hurting. If they didn't take their gains, you have I mean, they felt great at the open of yesterday. They felt just okay, but a little queasy by the close of yesterday. And during some of that action, they probably did not feel too well. However, I will say that the Bears did a good job keeping us below the Friday VPOC. They're not doing a great job whatsoever today at the open. So you'd want to see them. Bears, I think, wanted to see this thing open below 180.37. Maybe if you get a little pullback in here, maybe you could get it somewhere around 180.52 ish. Give me a little pullback, something. Otherwise, my initial target at least is about 187.35. That's still about $4 or $5 to the higher side. And then if we could break through that, maybe have room up into I don't know if I'll put my target up here today, but 192, something to that extent. Would rather see at least either I have to take a small setup, I think, on this one, like a tighter spread, or see a little bit of a few dollar pullback, which who knows, maybe in this market we can get. But I'm gonna keep that one pretty high on the list as well. We got Meta. It's interesting. I think there's some bears definitely trapped in that one. Meta is not bad. You're gonna have a big resistance on this one. So opposed to Amazon, which got above the Thursday VPOC, this one's still below it. It's got some work to do. You are at the very high end of yesterday's range, but we're still in yesterday's range. We'll have to see where this one opens. I'd almost want to see this thing break 144.51 first, and then go along to look to capture 174. It's a lot of room to the higher side if we could do it. Otherwise, I don't know if the Bulls are strong enough today to get through this 144. So if they're not, I'd rather see a little bit more of a bigger pullback. This one I wouldn't mind touching yesterday's VPOC 117.39 for an opportunity. We'll get this one higher. Key spot on this one is somewhere around this 144.50. Anything above that, I think it's worth a shot to see if we could fill some kind of gap with a lot of room on it. So not bad. We got Baba, BABA. BJL says, which one is cheap to buy, Amazon or Apple or Microsoft? That's a good question between all three. Hold on. I like where this is going. Let me see. MSFT. You got about a 28.8 PE on Microsoft, not including the already gap up for right now. AAPL, I think, is a little too high still. Let's see where they're at. Their Apple is 28.8. So Apple and Microsoft essentially the same. And then Amazon has a PE of 31. So actually, Amazon's a little more expensive than both, according to those charts. I think the growth for Amazon has a better shot than I think all companies, all of them are stable. I don't think you go wrong kind of adding any of them. I would like to see probably all of them actually a little bit lower, and that maybe got us into the zone from yesterday. but they're all very, very close to each other. Technically, just in your forward PE on Amazon looks decent, and I think Amazon actually has a little bit more growth. So if I had to choose, I would probably like if I had to buy today, probably I would take Amazon over the rest. Baba, interesting little pullback. Nice gap up today. You got very close to that 200. I'm still holding shares for full disclosure, but you probably have some room up on this one to 109.58, something to that extent. Otherwise, you almost got into Friday's VPOC yesterday. We didn't quite do it. But that would be your bigger target for today, 115.18. I'd probably have to go. Yeah, 115.18. Some to that effect. That's about $10 higher from here. Again, inside day, so just be careful on the open. See if there's a little pullback, any funny business. As soon as this bell rings, the closer you could get into probably 106.11 for the buy, I think the better opportunity you have for risk reward. But it does have a little bit more room to the higher side. Let's see, we got Hood, HOOD. Uh, Levy says, what does PE mean? That is your price to earnings. So that's kind of what you'd use to value company. Those numbers are a little tricky because there's also forward PE based on how they're growing. But actually, the one you didn't add to the list, Bijal, is NVIDIA, which I think actually has a 20, I think it was 22 NVIDIA. Right now, at least, you have about a 33. The other day, you're sitting at like about a 28 on NVIDIA as well. We'll see. We got Hood is interesting, but the resistance again. So key spot on this one, and maybe that's your target for today, which won't get you that much upside. You got about 37.84. If you could break through that one, you have 38.18. So watch those spots on this one. Almost a bullish engulfing candle, which is pretty good, and you had some decent volume. Going back a little bit further, this candle from March 10th had a ton of volume on it, and at least you are slightly. We'll see the way this one opens. If we could get an open above 37.18 or 30, yeah, 37.18 or higher, you might get that quick push out of the gate. But I would probably have to stick to a 1.2 and just kind of almost play momentum on this one. But otherwise, retrace gap. If you're opening anywhere underneath, maybe you're looking for some kind of level 36 would get you a much better risk reward. Again, unless this market just does something crazy, I'm not gonna put I'm not gonna put that past this market where you start breaking through some key levels, but that would be at least my immediate target. Dell, out of all of them, Dell's been one of the bigger struggle buses recently. Even before the entire market started just selling like a madman. But you have 79.10 is your next kind of resistance. You're opening right into it as a retest gap. I kind of like this one to the short side for the retest. If you, I don't know if I'll play it short, but you have about $4 roughly to the downside on this one, and as long as you're getting some kind of candles at open high wave that you can take a breakdown retest, something small setup, it might be worth looking for a retest gap. Anything above, if we start creeping above, getting candles closing above about 79.10 or higher, then maybe you have more of a shot for the upside. But at open, you're opening into resistance. I'd be cautious on this one, just going full on bull out of the gate, and maybe a little bit of a risk reward to the downside on that one. Lululemon. Again, probably off of some decent earnings from I guess kind of good earnings from Levi's, but a lot of retail gapping up. Out of the two, out of Nike and Lulu for today, I think Nike has a little bit more range to it. Lulu, you're probably looking at a target, still about $8, which is good, just a little more expensive. But you got about $8 to the high side on this one. If you come into a full-on retest of this Thursday, that's not Thursday, it's Wednesday. Yeah, if you come into the full-on, I think your hard stop on this one, probably about 283.06, is probably my stretch target for today. And then if I could get out somewhere around 280, 279.91-ish, that's where I would not mind getting out. Otherwise, if you do get a pullback, it would look interesting to me I think you get a really good opportunity if the market could give it to us, but 263.81 would be an interesting spot to uh, wait to see if it retests and then look to buy. Otherwise, out of the gate, I think I like Nike a little bit better. Let's see. Baba sold at 140, now debating to buy. That's the question on Baba. Um, I think you locked in gains if you're not going crazy. I like it. I think it's still cheap. Yeah, Palantir is really expensive. So this is the thing on you guys are all talking PEs today. I love it. Palantir is really, really expensive. Their price to earnings, PLTR is 411. A tech company, so something like a Nike or maybe even a Lululemon, or Coca-Cola, let's say, you would expect you'd want to get in on a cheap PE, price to earnings 10, 15 on like a Coca-Cola. Uh, Tech companies, because they have typically more growth to them, you're willing to pay a little bit more, 30, something like that in that range. So just to give you an idea of how expensive Palantir really is, they're looking at 411, meaning if you were to buy it today, Palantir's earnings have to increase about 411 times for you to really be at the value you're investing at the current price today. That being said, kind of what Nvidia did, there's a way to change those numbers. If the sales, if the revenue, and I think Palantir grows like 20 to 30% a year, if they continue to grow at that rate, and that's a big if, but if they can, then eventually their growth is outpacing kind of that number, and I think that's where you're getting the valuation for this. If anyone's arguing like, hey, this is cheap, I don't know. I liked it better at $7 when PE was fairly low. So I can't be a buyer here if we have a much bigger sell off pullback. Yeah, I'll look to step back into Palantir, but um, the stock market is irrelevant to like eventually the stock price moves will eventually come into to where the value of the company should be at some point. But otherwise, you could have a fair value at, let's just draw a line of 50, and the stock could be still trading at 130, right? And it doesn't mean that because the PE is low, if you're a trader, you're not really looking too much at PE. You're looking at the candles, the sentiment, the momentum, a lot of different things. If you're a long-term investor, I'm gonna want either a fair price or give me lower because the pendulum swings both directions. So if I see something undervalued as a long-term investor, that's where I want to step in. Otherwise, if you're trading, the PEs don't matter as much. But um, very, very expensive stock. Very, very expensive. Otherwise, this one has a nice gap up for today. Again, maybe momentum clicks in. Pre-market was kind of going crazy already. But this is also a retest gap. I think if you're trading this one, really the closest you get to probably about 78.27. I'd even be okay if this thing pulls back to like $79 to start looking. But you're a little tangled up at this point. We'll see if you can break one way or the other. The real first test is can you break through 86.70? If you can, maybe we just pop out of here. We get above all those moving averages and momentum. And the crazy stock market people just keep on buying. They just keep going. All right, let's see what else we missed. Well, I don't think we looked at. Let me know if you guys got other tickers or if I missed anything. Just let me know. I do see UNH in there too now, so let me pull that up in a second. We didn't look at Bitcoin though. Bitcoin hanging in there. It's got a high wave indecision candle. Lots and lots of volume yesterday. I actually like this location a lot for Bitcoin. So we got into prices that we were looking for, I think. Well, we got close to it. We didn't actually make it all the way down. We made it into this last VPOC where we had a strong bounce move. So that was a good retest on that one. Other than that, you do have a lot of room on Bitcoin for today. I think your first spot is kind of where we're getting to now, 80,853. We got there yesterday. I think we have a chance to break. And then look for targets until like 81,857. That might be bullish Mara, bullish Coinbase, bullish MSTR, bullish Misty if we could break some of those levels on that one. UNH. Um, was there an upgrade to UNH? Attempts recovery from tariff-driven losses. United Group they jumped about 8%, 8% in pre-market trading after the U.S. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services announced a 5.06 payment rate increase. All right, yeah, that would benefit them strongly. If you bought off the lows somewhere, if you got in somewhere around 460, you're up over $100 on this one already. I like UNH long term. I much rather have it somewhere closer to here than someone like I just said being up $100. You're very close to all-time highs. You still have some room to go, but you got 630 until you we have that discussion. But I think if I was in this one in this type of market and the market's going to give me a gift like this, I think this would be a take my profit, move on type scenario for me, unless it was like a long-term hold. I wasn't planning on selling ever. Um, it is a retest gap from yesterday. Great, great spot where we're just breaking through a lot of pivots, but I think that's a fade opportunity. Let's see how that one opens up and plays out. But I think, yeah, if I was in this one, especially with so much tech and everything else down, I could take my gains from here and push it into something else that is a lot lower. The Nvidias of the world, maybe. But we'll see. Interesting. That we might be able to play that one short. Uh, Joe says many companies went up in that sector. Yeah, everything for retail. Peter says we are close to the open daily of the 100 EMA on SPY. One to watch if it acts at resistance or breaks through strongly. Big question is, are we just in a dead cat bounce and the market's fooling us yet again, or is the bottom actually in? We'll see. We'll see if there's more news that comes out. My guess is there will be a lot more headlines approaching. Where's MU at? Dell has me kind of wanting to look at MU. Yeah, kind of like MU a lot. Not really much holding us back up until at least 74.28. Anything past that, I think you probably get to about 77. And we do have another VPOC about 75.20 where we're at. So yeah, $4 on MU. I might want to see a pullback on that one too. Tesla, nobody wants to talk Tessie today, huh? It's too bad. I'm gonna pull it up anyway. I don't care. Just don't care. We got Tessie. So this one, we took some lines off, but this one I'm watching on the other screen. It's kind of starting to move a little bit. Let me take some lines off. There we go. Beautiful. For Tesla, that is still inside day. Watch 252. Anything above 252, you might have a big upside to about 268. A little bit of resistance in the way. A little bit of retest. See what happens if we could pull back and hold 243.08. Otherwise, anything past that, I probably wouldn't be looking long. Just different spots to see if you get pullbacks into like 238, 239, something like that. But a little bit of a high wave right now. Otherwise, that is the morning bell. So everybody on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe buttons if you've not done so already. Otherwise, you guys are incredible.